Happy Friday here inside the vault. It is the 9th of May. So good to be back with you guys. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined alongside Sarah Ellison. This is your Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. On your way in, if you could please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, do the things that help this channel go. And go we will, partner. We got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour or so. No featured guests for the first time in a couple days, so definitely encourage all of you after this live stream is over to go check out our back-to-back interviews with different coaching staff members, either a head coach in yesterday's case with Brent Pry of the Virginia Tech Hokies, who of course recruited and was, I guess, the beneficiary of Aeneas Peebles' transfer to Virginia Tech after Duke. So we had a one-on-one with him yesterday. And then earlier in the week, we sat down virtually with Danny Gonzalez, who's the special teams coordinator, or at least was, for Arizona before being promoted to defensive coordinator, which meant he had a great perspective on Tyler Loop. So a couple rookie pieces of content for you this week. And today we'll take a look at Kyle Van Noy's comments yesterday. Sarah, I think he is slowly but surely getting ready for his post-retirement gig because I think we both agree he's going to have some sort of analyst gig. He's a podcaster on the side in season with Gerald McCoy. And yesterday, NFL Live invited him on as an NFL analyst. So we'll have his thoughts for you. We'll react to a certain top 5 ranking that he left his own teammate Lamar Jackson off of and try and gauge whether or not there was a little bit of extra motivation maybe sprinkled in there as well, because KVN is always touting number 8. We know that. We cover that closely. Jadeveon Clowney, there's a report out there that we have to dissect. He has been released by the Carolina Panthers. That's not the report. Are there ties to Baltimore? Are there conversations that are already being had? We'll take a look at that. And, of course, Lamar made his TV debut as well, so we'll try to put on our analyst hats for that. Good luck to you, partner. Good luck to me. We're not exactly experts in the fashion department, but we will try to be.
It's not about fashion. It's about acting.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I can appreciate some good acting, though.
In the past, I'm talking about our fashion sense has struggled inside these walls. We'll see if that's the case for entertainment. So all that more coming up. Great to see you. Happy Friday.
Yeah, no guests today, but it is a heavy Lamar day, both from the football side and then from the acting side / being on sort of a, joking reality TV show. But before we get to that, Bobby, we talked about it before we got on. Your hair's different today. You said that you wanted to troll a little bit by switching it up. You may have gotten me. I can't stop staring at your hair. You've got, usually it's brushed up behind and now it's kind of pulled forward. And then you've got the mustache with it. I don't even know what to do with you right now.
I don't know if it's trolling or just having a little bit of fun, because I love when we come on the show.
Yeah.
And every day, obviously, we're wearing something different.
Yeah, there's always a comment on the colors or shirts or whatever we're wearing. Yeah.
And I just find it hysterical that the instant feedback, as soon as we come on the show, just starts filtering in. And I always like to see people's reactions. So, yes, one, for those of you who don't feel like Bosley worked, okay, the hair transplant from a couple years ago, these are my bangs, baby. It worked, okay? It worked.
Okay.
And then two, it's just a little something different with the stash. Why the heck not? Trossets cannot grow facial hair, at least our immediate family, we struggle in the facial hair department. So this is me giving it a 2-week attempt, and we'll move forward.
Listen, I'm here for the mustache. I like the old hair look, though. I like the old one. That's just my 2 cents, but both work. You do what you got to do. So, okay, let's jump into Kyle Van Noy going on NFL Live last night. He gave his opinion on all the news headlines that are going on in the NFL right now. But of course, they did a full segment of his Baltimore Ravens, our Baltimore Ravens. And what's a segment with the Ravens without talking about Lamar Jackson? So off the top, they ask him about Lamar, how things are looking, and what is the next step. Here we go. Kyle Van Noy on NFL Live.
Let's talk about Lamar, though. Okay, what's it actually like practicing against him?
Well, I always tell people he isn't lying when he says he doesn't sprint in real games. For whatever reason, in practice, he likes to point at you as he's running by like, you can't touch me, but we really can't because he's that fast. But he does a phenomenal job, and I think the biggest thing that I always challenge Lamar every time I get a chance to talk with him is taking that next step. And he's already on another level, but just continue that growth of what he's doing, the path that he's on. He is on another level right now playing the quarterback position, but I also think he can take it up a notch, and it's scary because he wants to. His path to continue to get better each and every game, as well as the week, the preparation that he has. I'm excited and I'm grateful that I'm his teammate.
Okay, I thought I had a little bit more to that, but yeah, so he says he likes to challenge his quarterback. He said that Lamar can take it up a notch, and it's scary because he wants to. What was your reaction to that?
Exactly what we've grown accustomed to seeing and hearing from Kyle when he's behind the microphone since becoming a Raven. He's a proponent. He's a champion of Lamar Jackson, has been since the second he walked in the door. What was it? Late September, early October in the fall of 23, right before they went to London. Kyle, obviously himself, has had a resurgent, sipping from the fountain of youth kind of couple seasons in Baltimore. He's got one more year under his current contract. We'll see what he does with it. He's coming off a double-digit sack campaign, really kind of made a name for himself. He was already a name, but he made sure that name was sort of rediscovered by many throughout the NFL over these last couple seasons. So clearly, one, you're seeing, like we just mentioned off the top, Kyle is going to have a post-career in broadcasting, one would think. I think this is how you start to see little signs of that. Of course, the podcast doesn't hurt either, but this is what we've grown accustomed to seeing. He's a leader. He is somebody that I think is a positive impact on this locker room, Sarah. And whether he's in national format like this or on Yahoo Sports, which is his podcasting platform, he's always building up his teammate.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I see it as a challenge to build up Lamar. I know there are some that were annoyed by it. I posted this clip on Twitter. I can't remember if it was late last night or this morning, but some people felt like it was a bit disrespectful. I didn't see it that way at all. I always like it when Lamar challenges his teammates. I can remember when he called out, I'm trying to remember the wide receiver where he felt like Nelson Aguilar, when he didn't feel like he was blocking enough for Keaton Mitchell. He's told other people where he wants them to be, where they should go, all that kind of stuff. And as a quarterback, you have to do that. And so it's nice to have a teammate with the veteran status of Kyle Van Noy that pushes Lamar. But like he said, it's scary because he wants to, because Bobby, just earlier this week, Lamar Jackson literally tweeted the same thing. Here's Kyle Van Noy saying, I think he can take it up a notch. And earlier this week, he says, let's turn it up a notch. And that was quote retweeting Warren Sharp, and Warren Sharp getting into his numbers and how he's looked throughout the regular season and also the postseason. So I just see this as Kyle Van Noy and Lamar Jackson being on the exact same page. And I remember, Bobby, when we covered this earlier this week, I think it was Monday, where he wrote, let's turn it up a notch. You asked me, can he turn it up a notch? And the answer is yes. He keeps doing it. It almost seems impossible when you go from an MVP in 2020 or 2019, and then in 2023, certainly had an MVP worthy season last year in 2024. And each time he keeps getting better. And so can he? Yes. Is his teammate going to be pushing him to do so? Yes. Is Lamar Jackson be pushing himself to do so? Yes. And I hope Lamar holds Kyle Van Noy to the same challenge. We need double-digit sacks again. I hope he holds the rest of the offense, the rest of the defense. The defense, more than anything, wasn't holding its end of the bargain last year. So I like that these are two leaders on the offensive and defensive side that can challenge each other and say, hey, we have to pull it up another notch because of where we want to go.
Just so we're on the same page, when you say turn it up a notch, are you deciphering that? Are you interpreting that as, can he trump his previous statistical bests across categories? Is that what you mean when you say that you think he can turn it up a notch?
I'm sure in some categories he can, but what I mean by it, and what I think Kyle Van Noy means by it, is turn it up a notch so they can get to where they want to go.
Right.
And so
get to where he has not been yet is really kind of the overarching theme. And then if he can somehow bet, because when I think about that, I'm thinking of I don't know why my mind went here first, but it was statistical categories. And I think about 4 interceptions last year and what he did in the air and on the ground and efficiency. And I just think to myself, wow, that is going to be really difficult to follow up. if there's a guy
and I
that can
thought,
do it,
remember in 2019 when he led the NFL in passing touchdowns? You know, it's like, is he going to be able to do that? And then he ended up having more touchdowns in 2024.
if
It
there's
didn't
a
lead
guy
the
that can
league,
do
but
it,
it was more. And
if
so
there's a guy that can do it, he's
Yeah.
certainly capable of doing exactly that. I kind of like where your head went first over the statistical side of things. He's got to get to where he hasn't gone yet. And obviously that's going to take a collective team effort.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like we've said, like, I'm fine with him saying that to Lamar. Let's just remember the defense has the biggest. They have to turn it up several notches. You know what I mean? To go from where Lamar's been, it's going to be hard to like click it up, you know, 1 or 2 notches. But from the defensive perspective, it can be notched up several keys because they have to. And Bobby, that was a good question that you posed. Like, are we talking statistics or are we talking about, you know, where they want to go? Obviously, Lamar. Like, he's had all the stats, he's had leads, he was number 3 all time in passer rating last year. Like, he's hit all those questions. It's what do they do in the postseason? They asked Kyle Van Noy, overall as a team, what is the next step?
Is the next step for you guys?
The next step is get to that last game and eventually win that last game. But really, I think what they did in the draft was really, really good. EDC, he's one of the best in the NFL at being a GM. I think getting Malachi Starks complement Kyle Hamilton on the back end, as well as Adarius Washington. You also have Mike Green, led the NCAA in sacks last year with 17 and a half. An amazing talent he is. Fell all the way to the second round where we picked him up. We didn't have any glaring needs, so being able to draft those guys to develop them, be around other good players within the Ravens defense. And then Zach Orr, that second year for him, being comfortable as the DC, taking that next step. We're excited to take that next step and just coming together, buying into that Ravens defense. We had a year that we didn't want to have last year. I think we're ready to get back to where it's always been at the top.
So, Bobby, that plays into what we just said. Like, challenge your quarterback, your leader. He needs challenges too, but also hold yourself accountable. And that's what he did. He talked about, you know, we were not at the standard that we wanted to be on the defensive side. And he also feels like defensive coordinator Zach Orr is going to take the next step. Bobby, I still remember, we're about a year behind, but I remember the Philadelphia Eagles had a ton of turnover on their defensive side, and they had a bigger dip right after they lost all their, including their coordinator. When they lost some of their defensive identity, they had a bigger dip than the Ravens had last year. And so then last year was their second year of getting more back to their defensive ways, and they go on and win the Super Bowl. And you can only hope that the Ravens will follow the same trend, that in Zach Orr's second year, as Kyle Van Noy said, he'll get into the groove. They'll get in the groove of play calling, knowing where to best fit people. And right now, you just got to fit in some of these big time draft picks that you got in the first and second round and figure out how they can augment things and really get back to the Ravens way on defense.
Kyle may have added in another challenge to Lamar Jackson too. In this analyst sit-in that he did yesterday for NFL Live. And that came in the form of a quarterback ranking. Kyle's been around this league for a long time, Sarah. And they asked him at ESPN to list out the toughest quarterbacks he's faced, to prepare for, to go up against. He gave his top 5. Here's the clip.
Number 1, I have to go with Tom. It goes all the way back when I played in Detroit Lions 2014 when they won the Super Bowl. I was kind of nervous out there. He saw me and pinpointed me and went right after me with Julian Edelman. I got to go number 2, Patrick Mahomes. He is that dude right now. He is the most poised quarterback in the NFL right now. His pocket presence, his awareness. I do enjoy sacking him, but his competitive level is number 1 right now. Number 3, I got to go with Joe Shiesty Cool Burrow. I got to spend some time with him at the Pro Bowl, and man, the way he prepares, even for a 7-on-7 game at the Pro Bowl, was like, okay, this dude's got it.
You're undefeated, by the way, in 3 games in your career against Burrow.
Oh.
So he should hate to see you coming.
Yeah, these are good.
There we go.
Next, I have a young Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Man, Aaron Rodgers is he scared me when I was with the Lions. And the worst thing that he did, one game he knew we were going an all-out pressure. He ends up hitting Jordy Nelson for a touchdown. And you know what he does, Jay? He taps me on the butt and says, nice try. 5. And finally, Josh Allen, Mr. Do-It-All. He can he really does it all. He's like Booby Miles. He can run, pass, kick the ball. He can do it all very well at a high level. He's number 5. My honorable mentions, Stafford, underrated, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. I did put Jaden Daniels under there. Yeah. And then I got to have my teammate. I don't want to give him too much credit, right? Yeah, but he's out there Lamar, too for honorable mentions.
I love it. All right, this is, by the way, the best list you could ever do because nobody can hate on this list. This is like your personal list. Yeah. You know, you're the one that played against these quarterbacks, so they can't say anything to you.
They can't.
They try.
I would hope they do.
This guy can say something twice a season. I think you're playing the Chiefs.
He might say something.
Yeah, come on. Hey, Lamar, tweet us, all right?
He might say something, meaning Lamar Jackson. Doesn't put him in the top 5 list. I saw the chat asking if Kyle Van Noy's ever faced him. He has. I think it was just in one game, though. Bobby, listen. He says it's my list. They say nobody can take issue with it. I only take issue if he's saying that he doesn't want to give Lamar too much credit, and that's why he's keeping him out. Then I do take issue. If this is his genuine list, then that's his list. But he's smiling and says, I'm putting Lamar as the honorable mention because I don't want to give him too much credit. So is he trolling with his good friend and teammate there a little bit? Or
I don't know. That
he's
note,
genuine?
That note that you just mentioned of only one game that he's actually faced them, I think it was when he was a Patriot back in, would that have been 2019 on a Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken, when Tom came in. New England was undefeated. Lamar, of course, was in his first year as a starter, went on to win the MVP, and absolutely raked the New England Patriots that night. I will never forget that. But if that's the case, then I think this list is honestly heartfelt. I think it's genuine. Right? I mean, it's one time you've tried to prepare for this guy. He's been your teammate. Yeah, you go up against him in practice every single year. But I could also see how it's a little bit of a challenge. And he is that kind of mentor-like guy, that older, wiser guy that's going to bust your you-know-what's a little bit here and there. So do I think much of it? I don't. You're right. He had that playful smile on his face. But being that, again, it was only one game, I think this could actually be genuine.
Chat's saying that Lamar shook Kyle Van Noy in that one game.
Oh, there's a clip going around that, he got him.
Yeah? Do you have the clip? I guess we can't play it.
We can't play the highlight, but I remember seeing it quickly yesterday. Somebody dug it up, which was awesome. People keep receipts all the time.
Is it pretty filthy, or is it like,
honestly,
there?
I honestly just saw the wording of the tweet. I didn't even watch the highlight. So, look, I don't know. This is a non-issue for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a non-issue, but but you just don't even like lists. I like to do lists. And hold on, I think I just found it. There we go.
I can't stand lists. You're right, but I don't.
You don't like lists.
I'm taking my bias out of these comments. I cannot stand lists. You're correct on that. But I just
listen. It does for me eat a little bit that he's got. I'm okay with Brady, Mahomes, and Aaron, but it eats at me a little bit with Burrow and Josh Allen. So, and I would like to know, because if he didn't say that last comment where he says, I don't want to give him too much credit, then that makes me think, okay, is that not genuine? Like, just tell me who your real list is. It just leaves me wondering what he really thinks with that last comment.
Yeah, me too.
Let's put that out there.
Me too. And the body language, the demeanor, like you said.
Yeah, and he's smiling, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So. But to your point, you don't put too much stock into it.
Hasn't had to game plan a lot for Lamar.
One, I have to go with
that's sort of what I come back to is has not had a lot of game planning, having had to game plan for Lamar throughout his career.
Yeah.
Had a pretty darn good look at him though over the last couple of years, that's for sure.
So a couple more notes, just because he was asked about things throughout the NFL that I didn't grab the video of it, but I thought was kind of funny. So he was asked to react to the Steelers trade of George Pickens to go over to the Dallas Cowboys. First of all, he was talking like EDC quite a bit in there. He said that the Cowboys got great value. because he felt like if they do move on from him after this year, they gave up a 3rd rounder, and then there was some, back and forth of 5th and 6th rounders, all that, but it's essentially a 3rd round. And he's like, they got great value because they can get a comp pick if he moves on. And you better believe that Field Yates was like, you have been in Baltimore. You were truly a Raven with a GM named Eric DaCosta. If you're talking about as a player, comp picks, that you're aware of that whole system. So that was funny. He also went on, because people have criticized the Steelers saying they really don't have a plan, when really you just have Mason Rudolph as your plan right now. Who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? They waited to the 6th round to get a rookie quarterback. And Kyle Van Noy was like, no, I think they have a plan. And he's like, first of all, I think it's Freiermuth that's the biggest, weapon for them. And he knows, he's played him, and Freiermuth has done some damage against the Ravens. But he said bigger, he goes, I feel like they're gearing up to get a quarterback in the 2026 draft where there are more quarterbacks. So he feels like they're just trying to keep it moving. Maybe they'll believe in Rudolph. I'm telling you, people out here that are Steelers fans, they are believing in Rudolph again, because they're like, what? We got to the playoffs with them. We have a good defense. We're bringing in a running game. And so they feel like, now, I don't think that's a Super Bowl contending team, but is it a playoff team? Maybe. Somehow they keep making it. It's not, you can get into the playoffs with like a 9-7 record. And do I think the Steelers can do that? Yeah, I do. Because they're always around 500. And can they get a couple plays, up from that? And so that's what Kyle Van Noy thinks they're doing, that they're gearing up for a quarterback in 2026.
I kind of feel the same way about Cleveland, despite having 4 in their room right now. But Mason Rudolph, see, the thing was, he led him to the playoffs not through a full season, right? Kenny went down towards the latter half, if memory serves. So it's a smaller sample size of what they needed from him under center to get them to January. You're talking about a full 17-game season, and they're feeling comfortable with him. That, to me, feels a little short-sighted.
Oh, they're stretching it for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do I think it'd be crazy if they ended up at 9-7 and maybe snuck their way in? I don't think that's crazy.
9-7's done it before. You're right. 9-7 would be 16 games, so it'd be 10-7 or 9-8
or 9-8. Yeah.
But hey, we've seen stranger things. But is that going to happen in the AFC?
That's the thing.
I can see that happening more in the NFC.
Yeah.
There's too much parity in the freaking AFC, as we all know.
And the other thing that they benefited from was the Bengals just once again getting off to a terrible start, And so who knows if that's going to happen again? Probably not. I wouldn't bet on that. So we shall see.
Appreciate you guys for being with us on this Friday.
And I'm definitely still stuck in the 16-game seasons. It's like stuck, and it's like ingrained in my mind for sure.
Yeah, it was that for a long time. Douglas H. Brown Sr., who's a channel member of ours, says, Sarah and Bobby, help us make it through the weekend without our fuel. Appreciate you, Douglas. Thanks for being a channel member. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate all you guys for being here. We've got over 1,300 concurrents, Tila. Like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. And click on that link if you want to pursue channel membership, become an official Voltron. So Lamar went Hollywood, didn't he?
He sure did. And I got to say, okay, so I didn't know both of these were coming out in the exact same night. Well, I knew later yesterday that it was coming. But he showed his acting debut in Raising Kanan on Stars. And then not as much acting, maybe a tiny bit, but he was himself. He was the Ravens quarterback on Could Have Been Records with Drewski. And that one is like a satire kind of show up on YouTube where they're pretending that they're going to give records out, and it's supposed to be that people are taking it seriously. And so Lamar Jackson is like the guy that does the pre-auditions and sends them into the quote unquote CEO, which is Drewski. So let's start with that first, because these auditions, the reason why Lamar was on Could Have Been Records is because he came to do this in Baltimore. And so the Baltimore lingo, the Baltimore slang, everything is off the charts, and Lamar's raw reactions are cracking me up. So we might pause a couple of these. If it's a longer video, we'll pause them after each audition to get Lamar's reaction. but there's so much Baltimore in here. I love every minute of it.
How old you is?
I'm 26.
Cuz, you 26?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Cuz, I thought you were older than me, cuz.
That's how old I look.
Cuz, you look like you about 46, cuz.
46.
Cuz, with the fox hat and all, cuz. So that's your thing, you dance?
Yeah. I just go around just be dancing for real.
I'm gonna see, you know what, I'm gonna think about it.
See, I'm trying to be a star.
It's about the CEO.
I ain't trying to compete with
But
no
you got
CEO.
your hair color the same thing, just like CEO.
Nah, he got his hair color like me. He won't be like me.
You know what, we're gonna talk about this.
He was scared to battle me.
And you talk back, I don't think CEO like that.
Talk back.
You talk back. We're gonna see. We're gonna stay in contact.
So, first of all, Lamar is calling him out on his age. This guy comes in saying he's 26, and he's like, I don't know about that. You look like you're 46. Like, he gave him 20 years. And then he had his foot down. I don't want to hear talking back. Like, it was just like, and then they got the security guard to get him out because I don't know. I've never seen the show before in my life, so I don't know what's normal, but that was cracking me up, that back and forth, Bobby.
I'm loving the usage of "cuh."
Cuh.
Lots of "cuh."
Okay, let's move on to this next guy who recognizes who Lamar Jackson is.
Damn. What's up, dummy? What's going on? Damn, what's going on with y'all, fella? I know who this dummy, man. Ain't you the Ravens quarterback, man?
That's 4. That's 4. That ain't 4. That's 4.
3.
That's 4 point.
You know who that is? Come on, man. That's him. Timothy, LaMarvelous. Stop it.
You might use him as a crash dummy.
All right, yeah. We're gonna talk to you. We're gonna holler at the CEO. We're gonna get back with you.
Appreciate that, LaMarvelous, man.
Don't call me no motherfucking dummy. I'm not fucking with it. I'm not too fond of it. Smarty. Call me Smarty.
People use dummy in our chat all the time, and he's not feeling it. That's the Baltimore slang and lingo, and Lamar from Florida is not with it. Call me Smarty, don't call me dummy.
Imagine going up to Lamar. That's the first thing you tell him.
What's up, dummy?
Hey, yo, dummy.
But he smoothed it over because he's like, oh, it's Timothy. It's LaMarvelous, da-da-da-da. And he got through. He put him through to the CEO. So,
Okay.
Dummy notwithstanding. So, just mental note, Lamar is not down with that Baltimore lingo. Do not call him dummy. All right, move on. This one, Bobby, I don't even understand it. The Baltimore slang is to another level. I can't even follow it. Here we go.
Never even jiggle yang. Don't let no one jiggle yangs, cause they don't know man fucko yet. They don't know man jiggle yang unless they you sang man fucko yangs. How could I say that I'm not good? Jiggle yang, heavy gear is the biggest gear. The fucko tang, all y'all tangs. I ain't coming to him again. What's happening, gears?
That's a lot of Baltimore slang now.
It's a whole lot of it's all in one. Big jiggle you. This is where it earned from, the biggest goot. It don't get no bigger than the heaviest goot.
Hey, I'm gonna talk to CEO. We hear you.
Which way I'm earning? This way, goot?
I'm hearing you. We gonna let you talk to the CEO.
No way. Clarence says that guy used to be his barber. No way. That is hilarious. Okay.
Am I the only one? Is there anybody in the chat that picked up everything he said?
There's a lot of people that are acting as if they were lockstep with him based on their comments in the chat right now. I think we got some Baltimoreans in here.
Yeah. A lot of people saying not funny. We don't talk like that. Okay, Yvette saying I'm not alone. Okay, I feel better now.
But Clarence, are you for real? There's no chance that dude's your barber. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're both.
Carlos is saying he understands him. Carlos, are you trolling us?
I know Lamar was out on an island on that one. I could just tell.
But it was funny enough to put him through. Listen, I tried to watch. I went to YouTube. I think the whole episode's up there. I started watching it last night. I actually fell asleep during it, and I was like, I don't know if the show's for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clarence is doubling down on it. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Clarence's barber right there.
Okay.
That's Baltimore at its finest.
Mike M is confirming it.
That's amazing.
Okay, but does he always talk like that is my question, or was he's playing it up for the cameras a little bit, right?
I'm sure, but Joe's making us both feel better here. He's born and raised in Baltimore, didn't understand anything he said.
Tim's saying the same thing. He said he made up his own language right there. We're getting trash cans. That's hilarious. I don't know what happened though, because I didn't finish watching the whole show. I know he made it to the CEO as we just saw, but I don't know what happens after that. Also, it doesn't matter because it's not a real record deal. So it's
Correct.
all.
But Lamar, good stuff there as like kind of like a stage manager look to him. You know, he's got his clipboard. He's talking behind the clipboard.
Beanie, looking creative.
Looking very creative.
Yeah.
Looking a little free-spirited. Continuing to show off that versatility as he did in Raising Canaan.
By the way, Tim says that, yes, that guy always talks like that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move forward to the next. Now, this one was actual acting. He went on Raising Canaan. And Bobby, it's on Stars. And if you're like me, you may not have Stars. Do you have Stars?
No.
Okay. Do you know the background of the story? Because I had a the background story to the show. I had a Wikipedia because I just don't have Stars, so I didn't know any of it.
No.
So Raising Canaan is a prequel to the Power series, which 50 Cent is a producer of. I guess the whole Power universe, and they have lots of spinoffs. So this is a spinoff that's a prequel, and it's a crime drama set in the 1990s. And Kanan Stark is helping his mom grow her drug business. Okay. So Lamar is brought in as a guest actor who, like, the way they described him is like this dangerous, mean, I don't know, drug dealer. I don't know. That's the best I can give you. If you guys have watched it, you could probably do a better job than me. But this is Raising Canaan put on Instagram a little snippet of Lamar's acting. And Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's just a small snippet, but I feel like he's believable to the character that they had told us he would be playing several weeks ago. Here we go.
On the yellow month. Last I heard, 5 don't know shit. Wasn't nothing. You a big old buck, huh? They feeding y'all New Jersey. New York.
Okay, that's it. Had to do a lot of editing. The audio on that one, though. So I've seen longer clips that people have like put out there a little bit longer. But yeah, there's some people that some athletes, when they get into acting, it's just like they don't even belong whatsoever. Like Eli Manning, to me, whenever he gets lots of different gigs, whether it's commercials or whatever, when Eli Manning goes in, it's just like, all I see is Eli Manning. You know what I mean? And so I feel like Lamar was able to jump into this character, and, you know, he's supposed to be a dangerous, mean guy. And I feel like he sold that. There's some guys that try to act tough and they don't look tough at all. I feel like Lamar fit the bill of being a tough guy.
I agree. I think the facial expressions were on point. And
he delivered the lines, you know, it's like without flinching. E-Tone was his name. E-Tone. Lamar Jackson as E-Tone.
Look at him looking all swagged up there in the trailer shot there.
Yeah. Does anybody have Stars? Did anybody watch the whole thing? Because I want to know what happened to E-Tone.
Right?
Like, is E-Tone going to come back?
I'm sure somebody's following his every move.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson out there. And then we're still waiting on the Cold Tub show with
Kevin Hart.
Yeah. So Lamar's getting around doing all these different, you know, shows, whether it's like YouTube shows or, you know, cable TV, all that kind of stuff. So kind of a fun off season.
Love it. More super chats. We'll talk Jadeveon Clowney here in just a second. Joe Jenkins writes, send an email about membership gifting to the Vault email address. Please check. I'm a computer idiot. # need your help. I'd like to gift one. Thank you. Appreciate you, Joe. We'll take a look. Thanks for the super chat. Letting us
Maybe
know.
the chat can maybe help them. There's other people that have gifted it before.
Yes. Last Friday, matter of fact, we had a litany of gifts that were flying around. Asmodeus and Jitsu. That was awesome. Would love for that to start happening again. Yvette, Sarah, for you.
She says, Sarah, you are not alone. LOL, meaning understanding what apparently the local Baltimore barber and his slang. So I'm not the only one. Thank you, Yvette.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not even alone in the show.
Yeah,
I had no clue what he was saying. And Dreams writes, my mom grew up in Baltimore, and the biggest disappointment was her not picking up the Be More accent. And instead of short jeans, I'd rather have the accent. Yeah, I think Quion's like 5'5", he said the one time that he called in. So he got the jeans of hers, I guess, instead of he wants that accent. Sorry to hear it, Quion, but short kings got to stick together, you and me. That's what they call us these days, Sarah. Short kings. That's what.
Short kings? Who came up with that? I feel like you're making that up.
No.
Did you start that? Did you start that?
I did not. It's everywhere. I'm telling you right now.
Should I start tall queens?
Sure. Go right ahead. That you would qualify. And I certainly qualify as a short king, if I do say so myself.
I would never refer to myself as a queen. That seems like a little, I don't know. It just feels too self-aggrandizing.
No, I would agree with that. And which is why I won't either. But just the other day, I saw somebody repost an Instagram story that essentially says that 5'5" to 5'9", meaning May 5th to May 9th, is Short King Week.
Okay.
And this chick who posted it was like, happy Short King Week to all of you who celebrate.
Followed by 5'10" to 5. I know we're going into the 6s, but 5'14" for Tall Queen Week.
5'14". Yes. Dreams. Happy Short King Week, my guy. Sarah, your week is next week. You'll have to wait.
Dreams is saying that Short Kings has been a thing.
Siri's screaming at me. I don't know why. Okay. Amazing.
Evan's like 5'14".
Sarah,
otherwise
your
known as
week
6'2".
Your week will come. It's me and Quion chilling this week, baby.
That's right. I don't want to step on your week.
King me, Quion. Happy Friday, everybody. On to the Jadeveon Clowney news.
Yes, let's move on.
Let's do it. Jadeveon Clowney was recently released yesterday by the Carolina Panthers. As Warren Sharp notes, he has not been able to stick anywhere since his time in Houston came to an end. Some of that, I'm sure, has been strategic, meaning why would he have returned to Baltimore if his goal in 24 was to get as much as he possibly could value-wise, which Carolina gave him. They gave him a bag. The Ravens were not in a position to do that last year. Maybe that was a part of the puzzle. I also remember hearing and knowing that he's from the Carolina area and the proximity to family at the time was important to him. But you see what the last several years have been like for him. Houston, 2018. He was in Seattle in 19, Tennessee in 20, Cleveland in 21 and 22, Baltimore for a career year in 23, and then just last year in Carolina. So the question becomes, based on some reports out there, like this one, at least one report from John Frischella, tell you about him in just a second. But he is noting, as of yesterday, that Jadeveon Clowney and the Ravens, and a reuniting, if you will, is, quote, picking up steam, according to his source. Sarah, I had to go back and take a look to try and jog my memory on who John Frischella is. He's got a big following on X.
Like $100,000 or grand as if it's money, 100K.
He's got a 6-figure following, but he also is regularly community noted, and he is known within some Twitter spheres as being a troll, as being somebody that fabricates information, and being click hungry, I should say. So for whatever that's worth, just throwing that out there. Let's have the Clowney conversation, though. Your thoughts on this tweet, your thoughts to maybe expand a little bit on what we learned in real time yesterday of this release would be what?
Okay, so first to the tweets. I was a little surprised by it, and I didn't know his background. So that background, is good to hold as context, right? That sometimes the reporting from this Twitter account isn't always, it's not as reliable as, say, like if a Jeff Zrebiec were reporting it, or if an Adam Schefter or an Ian Rappaport, right? Like not quite the same credibility that those guys hold. And not knowing his background, though, it felt a little surprising to me, because I don't think that the Ravens are against bringing back Jadeveon Clowney, and this is all just speculation, but I would be surprised if they moved super fast, unless Jadeveon's agent came to the Ravens and was like, hey, he wants to come back, right? Correct. It was a career year with 9.5 sacks. He fit in really well. He knows that you guys are Super Bowl contenders. Like, he would like to come back. So in that sense, if the agent quickly called Baltimore, maybe that's true. Maybe it was picking up steam. I don't know what that means. Could they have had conversations? Wouldn't shock me if immediately after he got released that his agent's calling a lot of people. A lot of people see the fit, obviously, because they did work out so well. I grabbed a couple tweets from people whose sentiments on this topic align with mine. You can tell me if you align with it also. Jeff Zrebiec was asked, hey, would you bring back Jadeveon Clowney? And he said that he's sort of torn. He says, obviously, the fit is great here, and he played really well, but it would essentially mean you are not going to get much of any look at your young edge rushers if you have KVN, Owe, Clowney, and then Tavius Robinson being a part of the rotation as an edge setter. He goes on to say, you still have to develop players. He says, otherwise, you're wasting draft picks. He says, every offseason, there are these questions about edge rusher. He says, tough to keep band-aiding it every year and hope to catch lightning in a bottle with a vet. So I'm with him. Like, I'm not against it, but like, I also feel like the Ravens are pretty set, and I do agree with them. And I'm not sure people understand this as much. Obviously, in practice, you can give reps to people. But when it comes to the preseason, and then once you start getting to the regular season, you're divvying out reps. And I want to see those reps going to somebody like Mike Green. I want to see Tavius Robinson growing. And to Jeff's point, like, you don't want to get caught in the cycle where you're looking for a Clowney or a KVN as this Band-Aid and this patch. And I'm really in line with Ken McCusick. This is how I would best see Jadeveon Clowney fitting in Baltimore. He talks about how good they work together also. He said the Ravens could benefit from him being on the team, but the team usually doesn't carry 6. That's a lot to have 6, Bobby. And right now they have Van Noy, Owe, Thompson, Green, Adisa Isaac, and then if you put Clowney in there, that's 6. And that's even if Ojabo was cut and traded. And again, they don't usually keep all 6.
And who's trading for him?
I don't know why anybody would trade for him.
Yeah.
With what he's done right now.
So it'd be a release. I mean,
it'd probably be a release. Maybe you could get a 7th rounder out of him. Something late like that.
That'd be stunning. But yeah, at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
At the most.
Right. And so this line at the bottom from Ken McCusick is exactly where I'm at. He says Clowney could be a season-saving addition if depth does not hold up. So in the past, Jadeveon has a lot of times not signed until late into training camp. So I don't know if that's going to happen again. But if I'm the Ravens, I risk him signing elsewhere. But there's a good chance he could still be around. I risk that happening and get a look at my young guys, see what Green really has to offer, see what Adisa Isaac has to offer, see if Owe's take another step, if Tavius Robinson's take another step. And then if an injury occurs or one of these guys isn't stepping up the way you'd like, then I would step in and grab Jadeveon Clowney.
I have no problem with any of that. It's also really enticing, though, because of what he did in 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that, right? The 9.5 sacks tied his career high, Sarah, in 23. He had to go back to 2017 the last time he put forth that production. And on top of that, he brought it in other areas. He had 19 quarterback hits. He had 9 tackles for loss, 43 total. He had 2 forced fumbles, one of which were recovered. I mean, the guy was an absolute force to be reckoned with. But then they went and got, obviously, Kyle Van Noy that same year. And so he served as that sort of that veteran presence last year. And yes, he was the beneficiary at times of Nnamdi Madubuike's push in the interior, as was Odafe Owe. So I think I'm with you. I think I could go either way. I'm not inspired to sit here and say they need him, but I could also see how, one, absolutely, Ken is correct that this depth would be significant, especially after you learn of what you have. And it would be a sure thing. You don't know how many sure things you have, I guess, outside of Kyle and Ajabo, or excuse me. Unfortunately for David, he's been anything but a sure thing over his first few years. But outside of Kyle and Odafe after last year, you really don't know what you have, including Mike Green. He's a rookie.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality of it. We're all kind of singing his praises, deservedly so, because great value in the second round, incredible production. What a motor. Everybody's praising him, but we don't know how that's going to translate. He's still got to get through a healthy training camp too, knock on wood. All rookies go through those learning curves physically, mentally, spiritually. So I'm with you. And along these lines,
I think just real quick to put a bow on it. If I'm EDC, I'm sitting in EDC's chair. I'm not making any phone calls. If the agent calls me, obviously I'm willing to talk. He really wants to be back with you. He's willing to take, a depth role. We're willing to take a veteran minimum. Then I'm listening. So I'm willing to take phone calls. I'm not making any phone calls until deep into training camp after I've seen what I can get out of my guys.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Because and JD probably on the other end with his rep being like you already said, I'm not trying to participate in training camp anyway.
Yeah.
I already showed you guys in 23 that I can join the program super late and still give you super production as he did in 23, much like Kyle too. Kyle was not a part of the program the summer of 23, goes on to have a career season for them and has backed that up. Now he did participate in training camp last year. I'm sure much to his, as a matter of fact, I know this is much to his chagrin, Sarah, because I ran into him. I don't think you'll mind me saying this. I ran into him in Harbor East last summer and I was like, hey, how's it feel to be a part of a training camp? And he gave me a little eye roll, a funny eye roll. So
all these veterans would like to start after right before the first preseason game or after the first preseason game. That's what veterans want to do.
Yes, especially in a state like Maryland with the summer climate here. Goodness gracious. Dog days of August hit different, especially when the pads come out. So that is that. And within this conversation as well, I mean, we are talking about another outside linebacker. That's not necessarily the segue, but the money that they could potentially use on bringing in part, Jadeveon Clowney, is that $4+ million, Sarah. It's got to go other areas too, and making sure you're getting your rookies locked down and practice squad sign and whatnot. But when we went over earlier in the week after Justin Tucker was released, and what was the number? Is it 4.2 after June 1, I believe?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So 4.2, you can tack on 1.8 to that number because, as Jeff Zaribek noted earlier today, former edge rusher, former outside linebacker Tyus Bowser withdrew his $4.5 million grievance against the team for how it handled his knee injury during the 2023 season. That's according to Jeff's team sources. So as a result, the Ravens are going to get a $1.8 million salary cap credit. I did see Tyus on Instagram in Baltimore recently, and I wonder if that was a meeting. You would think that that's handled by his representatives, or maybe he still has a place here. Maybe there's no correlation, but this certainly doesn't hurt the situation from a financial outlook, Sarah.
Yeah, and it's just for those that don't remember what this grievance was all about. So remember the Ravens had cut Tyus Bowser. Remember the mystery that was around his injury? It seemed like he had reported. I remember watching the video. You know how the Ravens Productions grabs videos of the veterans when they come in for camp, whether it's voluntary or mandatory, they get them walking in from the parking lot. And I remember seeing video of Tyus Bowser, and I was like, is there a little limp there? And so it appeared that he came back to camp with an injury. And I don't know if that's for sure the case, but that's the way it appeared on the outside. And so, and I bring this up because if you are injured on campus and you're doing Ravens football related activities, they still have to pay you. But if you get injured off campus and doing non-Ravens activities, then they don't have to pay you. And so remember, he came back and it just was like, well, it's camp. He'll probably be fine by, week 1. And then week 1 rolls around and the first quarter of the season he just never was able to come back. So the Ravens cut him at the end of the season and he filed a grievance saying, hey, you owe me my $4.5 million. So there clearly was it appears to me that there was like a dispute about where his injury happened and if the Ravens are on the hook for that. And so under the CBA rules, when you file a grievance, 40% of that, until it's settled, 40% of that has to remain on your cap. It counts against your cap. And so with him withdrawing it, it clears up that 1.8. It's not the full 4.5 because 4.5 wasn't on the cap. It was 40% of it, which was 1.8. So now that he's withdrawn it, and who knows why he did, maybe he just got a feeling that he wasn't going to win it, whatever, but they withdrew it. That gives him the 1.8 million. And remember, last year after they cut him, he was signed by Mike McDonald out in Seattle, where he was on the practice squad. And then mid-season, Miami Dolphins come in, sign him off the practice squad to their active roster. And I think he ended up playing here. I wrote it down. He ended up playing in 9 games with 5 starts in Miami. So, hey, I wish nothing but the best to Tyus Bowser. I always liked him. But that grievance was hanging over. So now he can move forward with the Miami Dolphins. The Ravens can move forward. The grievance is now settled. Ravens get their 1.8 million. Tyus Bowser gets to go continue his career elsewhere.
Genuinely good dude, to your point.
Yeah.
So best of luck to him, and best luck to the Ravens with a little bit of extra cash in the manner of a $1.8 million figure. Let's get to some super chats. Over 1,800 of you concurrently hanging with us right now. We appreciate you for being with us on a Friday. There is some generosity, Sarah, that's going around. Folks are gifting memberships, which we love. Julian became one. So, Jewel, welcome to officially Voltron status. Katie, oh, shoot, we went through it. Ramey or Remy? I think it was Ramey.
It was
Ramey.
Yep.
Katie, thank you. And who was the recipient of Katie's gift? Let us know. Same thing with Joe Jenkins. They're going around on a Friday, Sarah, just like they did last Friday.
And Joe gifted it. He's the one who asked us how to do it.
So Joe figured it out. And then he also said another one. He said, he's just confirming. He gifted one. Thanks to Katie Ramey's help. Thank you, Katie. Don't know how to pick someone. Bobby and Sarah, it's automatically picked,
yeah,
Joe.
You can't pick.
So you guys got to let us know. Who was ever on the receiving end of both Katie and Joe's generosity, let us know in the live chat. This is awesome. Great way. Kind of cool theme that's starting to build up here on Fridays when it comes to generosity and dreams, Sarah.
He says, I'm going to buy an Ojabo jersey since y'all want him gone.
Hey, you go do that. Let's go.
Who wants him gone? I want to see him coming. I want to see him become the first round draft pick everybody thought he was going to be. That's what I want to see.
Of course. My gosh, we wouldn't even be talking about Clowney if that were the case.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know that they would have drafted Mike Green if that were the case.
Maybe. Evan was on the receiving end of one of the gifts, and it happens to be his birthday, if I saw that correctly earlier on.
Oh.
So happy birthday, Evan.
Happy birthday.
And good stuff. Good luck there. Who else? Who else is on the... And Lewis wants to know, how do you gift? Does anybody know how to gift?
They explained it earlier, clearly, because Joe figured it out from Katie Ramey.
I'd have to think that you go... I'd have to think that you go to join. That's how you become a member yourself. And if you click join, if you click on the link that's pinned comment right now in the live chat, I'm sure there'll be instructions there. I've never done it myself, to be honest with you, because we're not in the live chat.
No, we're in the live show.
Yeah, literally. Shall we get to quick hits?
Yeah, let's get to quick hits.
You got a boatload of them. And this one you brought in of 2 former greats.
Oh, yeah. The GOAT quarterback. I don't know why I said it like that. Whenever I say GOAT, I say it funny. The GOAT.
I know. I was like, Sarah's smoking cigarettes these days. Dreams is gifting Sarah, we got a little bit of a train going right now.
Okay, it's heating up.
There's a gift train. Let us know. Dreams just gifted a channel membership, so let us know who's on the receiving end. We'll call it out. Thank you to Dreams. Thank you to Katie. Thank you to Joe for all gifting channel members today. Thanks to Julian for becoming one. Thanks to Deshaun for becoming one. What else you got on this topic, Sarah?
Shoot, where'd the video go? So anyway, Tom Brady was on the I'm gonna get his name wrong. Logan Paul podcast. Did I get that right?
Well, it's either Logan or Jake. Which one?
It was Logan. It was Logan. Yeah, it was Logan. So anyway, he was asked about who he was afraid of getting hit by. He named 4 players, 2 of which were Ravens.
Ask, is there anyone that you were like afraid to get hit by?
Oh, a lot of guys. Ndamukong Suh, maybe Ray Lewis was at the top. Ndamukong Suh, I didn't like getting hit by him.
Yeah.
JJ Watt wasn't very fun to get hit by.
I figured you'd say JJ Watt.
Yeah, Haloti Ngata. You remember him? He was about 340 pounds, played for the Ravens. He was massive. So yeah, like that's not fun.
You see their faces there at the end?
When he's like explaining who Haloti Ngata is, and he's like, "Remember him?" I'm like, "Yes, I do, Tom. Yes, I do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we
certainly
do.
do.
Ring
King
of
Lee.
Honor."
Oh yeah, deservedly so.
Yeah.
Just somebody who's imposed his will. Ray imposed his will. JJ imposed his will.
Tom Brady had to see Haloti Ngata break Roethlisberger's nose and be like, "I don't need any of that."
I don't want any of
that. Honestly, could you imagine being tackled with force by Haloti Ngata or Ray Lewis?
Listen, my man would have had to have more work done to his face than he's already had. He's got the best jawline out there.
Has he got work on his face?
Oh,
I never followed that. Really?
Oh yeah.
Plastic surgery?
For sure.
What did he do?
I mean, definitely jawline. It seems like there's some cheek work in there. It seems like there's some nose work. For all I know.
I literally only pay attention to the football side until I push myself to watch like Raising Canaan or Could Have Been Records. And I'm like, all right, let's jump into this world.
Well, I'm with you on that. I see a lot of this stuff just scrolling here and there, doom scrolling at night or whatever. But King Lee, by the way, just gifted a membership as well. So they're flying off the chain right now. But yeah, Sarah,
done that a few times on Fridays, a few Fridays in a row.
I kind of love that. Yeah. King wants to know what we want to know. Who's on the receiving end of his membership gift?
Yeah.
So we'll try and track down as many as we can here when they come in the live chat. But Sarah, I'm with you. There's a lot of times that I'm only seeing this stuff in small little bursts,
yeah.
So.
All right. Well, anyway, Tom Brady giving some love there. And then Bobby, I know this is a long paragraph, but the NFL is giving some announcements about their schedule release announcements. And so there's going to be some slow trickling in with announcing of games. Here's what we mostly need to know is that next Wednesday, May 14th, which is the very end of Tall Queen's Day, 8 p.m.
Well played.
At 8 p.m. will be the full schedule release. We will be doing a live stream that night. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to my desk until like 8:15, just an FYI to you. But
oh my gosh.
We'll see.
What?
Listen, we got stuff going on. But let me see.
No, it's all good. You already know if you're going to let me. We'll get it started at 7
no, you'll get it started. I know. You just know that literally every weekday, I've got soccer or, voice or, there's just I have 4 kids. They're all in something. So we're always doing something every night. Okay. But anyway, so that's the big one. We'll be live Wednesday, May 14th. But before then, they're going to have NBC announce something on the Today Show, May 12th. Plus Fox gets to announce one on May 12th. Plus Prime Video gets to announce one on May 12th. So we'll have 3 games that day. Then ESPN gets to announce one on Good Morning America, May 13th. And then we'll get 2 more, I think, earlier in the day from CBS and Netflix.
Wow.
And then international games will be announced also on May 13th.
Come on. Be one. Give me one of those.
You want to travel to it.
I want to travel.
I don't know why I don't. This is like, and I love it for the international fans. Like I'm thinking of the UK Ravens. I think there's like a Mexico Ravens, like all that kind of stuff. I want it for all of them, but for some reason I don't like it. I just feel like it gets them out of their groove. And I get so nervous that like you'll have like a just dud of a game, you know, like, and I just don't want to mess with the wins and losses. I guess like that's the part of me that I don't like, but.
Well, you're scarred. You're scarred from the Jacksonville
game. I'm scarred. It's true.
So
I also don't want to watch the game at like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Well, that throws things off for your schedule for sure on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Point is, we will be live on Wednesday. I went back and looked at our notes from last year. We went 7:30 to 9:30, so we will be in touch with you. Right now, the live stream, as you might see already, I went ahead and scheduled this morning for 7. So just be on the lookout for our plans. I will probably go solo until Sarah's ready. We'll have guests coming in and out. And it's always this is always one of my favorite. It's not that momentous like a draft night is, like a post-game live stream is, like a breaking news show is. But I just love planning things out. Like I love knowing where I'm going to be and when I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's coming up on Wednesday night. We hope you'll join us. And Sarah, I think we should take a quick pause in super chats, or excuse me, a quick pause in quick hits to revisit super chats because they're flying in.
Wow. What's going on over here?
A lot of giftings going on as well. All right, let's see. So first of all, we found at least one recipient. Travis says that he got a membership from someone. So thank you. Nice little surprise while I'm working and watching.
I feel like YouTube should send like a message in an email saying, you know, King Lee gifted you a membership. And then King Lee should get a notification. You gifted so-and-so a membership. I feel like YouTube should make that announcement.
I don't disagree because right now you got Katie, Joe, Dreams, King Lee. So far, you've got 4 or 5 folks that have gifted. So thanks, Travis, for letting us know. And now let's get back to where we left off with, and that was Katie Ramey, Sarah.
Katie says, Happy Mother's Day. This Sunday is also my son's 12th angelversary. Wow, on Mother's Day. That will be an emotional day, I assume, for you, Katie.
I think we learned, she mentioned this to us last week, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So Katie will be with you in spirit for sure. I'm sure he will be as well. And we'll be thinking about you.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day. And I know it's not maybe a happy anniversary, but hopefully you'll be able to find a reason to celebrate who he was. Yvette Biggs writes, yes, our young Ravens of today need to watch some old tape. The defense on the Ravens was brutal.
Oh, I need that back. KVN, take it up a notch on the defensive side. Bring it back to me where quarterbacks are like, I'm afraid to get hit by you. Need it in my life.
Marcus in the building, the virtual building, as a channel member.
He says, thank you, King. And Bobby is glossed as Bobby Stashmore. Yes!
You just can't. I cannot run away from anything that's attached to Bobby and labeled as a nickname. Anything goes. Everything's on the table. That's just how it rolls.
Bobby Stashmore is the best, though. I'm doing that. Every time you've got a mustache, I'm calling you Bobby Stashmore.
Marcus, I got to take a photo of this. This is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me?
There we go. Here, wait, take a photo of it with me. Can I point at it? Yeah.
This is freaking hilarious. You got to be kidding me. Hold on. I got to fix my hair here a little bit.
Yeah, now you see what I'm saying. Go back to the combed look on the hair, but keep the stash.
I'm getting a haircut prior to my brother's graduation, which is next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on up here right now, but I'm here for the reactions. I'm here for the comments.
Yes, you are. That's what I like about you.
Let's see. Richard.
He said, didn't we slam the Lions last time? Can't be scared.
The last several times. Yes. Lance Wade became a Voltron 1 minute ago. Lance, welcome. Thank you for becoming a channel Voltron. You're officially part of the pack. If you guys are interested in doing the same, visit the show notes, visit the live chat. There's a pinned comment right now. Brings you to our 3 different levels of membership. We would love for you to support the show and cash in on a little incentive as well to get more involved with us.
Bobby Stashmore and Bobby Bangs. We've got names for every look you have.
Remember, the one troll component of it is that I've often seen some feedback. It's not often. I shouldn't say often. I will see some feedback every time to time, or guys are getting on me about how the transplant didn't work. I'm of the belief that if you knew me the way you did prior to the hair transplant, you know it freaking worked. I was balding. I mean, it was like next level balding. It was a widow's peak on steroids. And I've been really happy with it. Is it perfect? No. They don't go for perfection. They go for improvement. And I think it improved.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Back to Super Chats we go.
Please never do that again.
I honestly don't even know what it was. It was not aimed at you. Keep it moving. No, I didn't transplant hair. No, it's not a freaking toupee or wig. Amazing.
Oh my gosh. You just looked dead in the camera with those eyes, then you made that noise. Okay. Okay. Warren Sharp.
You're amazing. You're unbelievable.
Warren Sharp's been on a roll lately. I think it's because he's putting out his analytics book. But we explained yesterday from Warren Sharp that the AFC North is for sure the toughest division in the NFL because they had the teams had the highest win rate when not playing each other. Okay. So what's the toughest divisions to play in as a quarterback since 2020? And boy, oh boy, what do you know? Based on the past defensive success rate allowed, the AFC North is the toughest. And based on the past defense completion percentage allowed, once again, the AFC North is the toughest. And Bobby, I didn't even bring in the Bengals defense because their defense has not been so good as of late. But yeah, like the Browns with Garrett, Tomlinson, Ward, Emerson Jr., Owusu, Delpit, and then over at the Steelers, Watt, Highsmith, Hayward, Smith, Fitzpatrick, Porter Jr., and then the Ravens. Again, down here, but still got some dogs. Matabike, Owe, Vanoy, Humphrey, Hamilton, and Roquan Smith. Those are all three legit tough defenses.
Powerhouses.
And that's what Lamar. And by the way, Lamar and all of his beautiful stats that we had earlier this year about him being in number one in so many categories, he's doing it against in the toughest defensive division for quarterbacks.
Another testament to his greatness. These are just three powerhouses right here. Cincinnati's obviously not on this list for good reason coming off last year, but in the past, they've obviously given the Ravens their own battles at times. Doesn't happen often, particularly in this Lamar era, but typically those are high-scoring battles. I mean, last year certainly was. But think about Pittsburgh. The fact that an in-division game, their defense was able to will them. And yes, there were some self-inflicted errors on the other side of the ball when it came to Baltimore, but their defense was able to will them to a victory without their offense scoring a touchdown last year. I still am, it's just mind-boggling to know that the Steelers found a way to win that game and the Ravens found a way to lose that game because that's what it was more about, right? It was more about, I don't even say that as like somebody that only watches the Ravens year round. I mean, that was a self-inflicted loss, like many of them were last year.
A lot of those. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And finally, Bobby, what is a Friday Vault live stream without just enjoying some of your rivals' woes? Okay. So on NFL Live, Adam Schefter had pointed out all these different Ravens receivers that have been traded or cut. And when they signed with the new team, they actually always did worse. I think there was only one player that actually did better when he left the Steelers. And so there was a Steelers fan, a video going around showing his jersey collection, which is just like rip after rip after rip. Here we go.
Collection of doom and despair.
Okay, now I have to mute it because I don't want to get copyright dinged on the song, but there's Fields. He's getting rid of Harris there. Can he pick it out? Now with the Browns. Deontay Johnson, he's got that jersey. Claypool, jersey, no good. Smith-Schuster, Audi, 500. And Antonio Brown. All those jerseys, all those seemed like really talented guys, but many of them just not being able to fit in. Some of them fitting in, but a lot of them not fitting in simply because of off-field issues. And so I love the beginning of that jersey collection of doom and despair.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the first thing I was thinking of. What you just mentioned, how many exits weren't exactly cordial,
Right?
And
right.
I think Chase Claypool certainly is among them. Obviously, Antonio Brown is among those. I know Juju had some stuff going on. I know there was it always seemed like there was some sort of TikTok that he was doing either in a locker room that was bothering people. I don't know if that was an internal issue for them as much as it was like people just wanting to run with it on social media. And then Deontay's Deontay. So there's 4 right there, 3 or 4 right there that didn't exactly end well. And we aren't even as plugged into the Pittsburgh side of things. Brooke could probably take us through the list and just give you every single detail of said departure. So,
yeah.
Anyway, a couple more super chats came in before we jump. Awesome audience today. We appreciate you guys for being with us. Joe Jenkins writes, "Run with it, Bobby. It's like FUB. It's all love." Oh, I'm definitely.
He does run with it. That's the only reason why I play along with the chat, because I feel like you're inviting it and you are running with it. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I never would have signed up for. You guys know. I think everybody knows that this was not something I paid out of pocket. I mean, the hair transplant was a marketing campaign, so the whole thing was comped. I would never run with it in a public format the way that I signed up to do with them to get it comped. If I felt uncomfortable about sharing, something that I wanted to do, and that was presented to me that I didn't even seek out. So
I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
they said, "Hey, young man, you look like you could use a hair transplant."
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, Sarah, quickly here since it's Friday, and we'll be quick because I gotta get down to DC.
Yeah.
And be on the lookout for these new sport coats that I'm getting. But
I'm excited for that.
They got stogie inner linings. I love that.
What does that mean? What is a stogie inner lining?
So inside the suit jacket is a little design, and I chose a cigar design.
Oh, a cigar design.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like there was like a pocket for your cigars or something, but it's a.
That would be cool. That would be cool too. Should I have him tweak something when I'm down there?
Maybe.
No. I'm working with this customized suit guy in DC, and I'm excited to go pick up my final alterations today. But oh shoot.
Sorry, I threw you off. You got to go, but real quick story about, I said I didn't know that they came to you for the hair transplant marketing campaign.
Oh yeah. So it just goes back to my radio days. And they would always make fun of me that the webcam was in an angle that was perfectly above my head. So you could literally see every single day for those that were tuning in the digital space that we like aired it and simulcast it rather than radio. You could see into my widow's peak. And it was a receding hairline and then some. And so everybody was making good fun of me. And then so finally a listener DMs me one time. She just so happens to be a vice president at Bosley. I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, you're in the DC location. I went down, got a consult, and it fell through. The deal fell through. It was all going to be done through the radio, and it fell through. Like a lot of things fell through when I was there. But then we're so much I mean, you and I are just so much happier these days, which doesn't diminish the opportunity that I got and everything. It was a great experience, but I'm just a lot happier on my own with you. And when I went out on my own, she reached back out and she's like, "Hey, I know things fell flat, but now that you're on your own, you still game for this?" I was like, "Yeah." So sure enough, March 2023, I go up to New York. It was a 1-day procedure, 6 months worth of recovery, growth, and whatnot, and here we are. So I don't know why I just told that story, but
well, because I didn't know it. I didn't know
okay.
that they reached out to you. I think you were just responding to me saying that I didn't know that.
And you know what it was, Sarah? It was like, honestly, one of the first moments where I realized that there is power in having a following and having an influence. And, we're dropping the bucket when it comes to, content as a whole globally and whatever. But people see value in what we're doing. And it kind of opened my mind to, what we could be venturing into from a sponsorship standpoint. So it was cool.
I think people would be surprised by how many trade/marketing deals you've put together. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that you have paid for that you haven't had to put a dime into. And companies are often more willing to give up a service rather than cash. And so you've just found a good way, be it from your car to storage units to hair transplants to a gazillion other things that I may not even be aware. Oh, hotel comps, right? Like you you just are able to make these deals. And it's just smart because businesses are so willing to give up a room or a storage unit or a car rather than cash. And you're like, fine, it's as good as cash for me by having all this stuff. Now I don't have to dole out cash for a car payment, And
to us, it feels like, hey, we're only signing up for it if we believe in whatever the brand is to a certain extent. I'm not saying I research thoroughly every single one, but I want to make sure that we're working with reputable companies. I think I just have I don't have a sales background. I have a sales personality, I think, or I at least can communicate with others.
For sure.
And
you have a business
one that I'm most excited about, actually. What's that?
I said you have a business and an entrepreneur mentality.
That's it. That's it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just leave it with this. One of the ones that I'm most excited about is coming up in November. It's my mom's 60th, and there just so happens to be a Baltimorean native who listens to us and was very involved in the show, who found my Facebook before it was deactivated. And he is one of the head marketing VPs at a Belize-based resort. And so we're going to be able to treat our mother as a siblings quad group to a resort experience, essentially, for her 60th birthday coming up in November. So
to Belize.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Really excited about that. She deserves it. So
very cool.
Yvette, for you.
Sarah, you get the holy water for that one. What did I do?
It was me going like to the camera.
Oh,
that's hilarious. That is hilarious. By the way, we are officially sponsored by Be More Around Town coming up on Wednesday night as of
it's official.
Just 4 minutes ago. So great to be back with Brian Snyder and the awesome crew at Be More Around Town. You guys know I've done my pregame shows with him the last several years. We hope to continue that in some capacity this upcoming fall. And he's been with us, Sarah, for now 3 straight schedules.
I was going to say, we must be getting some trips signed up through our show for him to keep coming back. I love it. It.
And it's a shameless plug. We'll tell you more about what he's got going on Wednesday night. But BeMoreAroundTown.com, they do far more than just Ravens-related things. Apparently, the Savannah Bananas are coming to Baltimore soon. He's got an excursion going on with that. He's got every single road trip coming up next fall. He does Orioles-related things. He does Caps. The Caps are, of course, in their Stanley Cup run right now in the NHL playoffs. So we're proud to be back with him. And special thanks to Brian Snyder for the continued support of this show. And Richard closes us out with let me know the suit guy, because remember, Richard's down in the DMV, lives in Virginia. So this would work for him. Richard, I will text you, but it's in National Harbor, which is a really cool spot, Sarah. I don't know if you've been down there, but it is so different than ever what I remember it. And it reminds me of like what they're trying to do with Port Covington over here that I was telling you about earlier with the Under Armour facility and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
National Harbor, Maryland is incredible, and it's right outside of DC. Richard says he wants a cigar pocket. That
if you guys meet up to go to another singles ward activity, you cannot wear your cigar suits.
That would not work out, would it? That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Richard, you're the man. He did invite me to another one for what it's worth, and I just can't make it. So hopefully we will reunite as wingmen soon. Right. Toey and Steven, thank you both for believing in what we're building. Just laughing about that whole night and how you told your entire family. Honestly,
I've told that story so many times to people from church.
Oh, it's so
they
good.
Like can't believe that it's like they just can't believe that you went and did that.
I walked in there. Richard and I walked in there like a bat out of hell. We were like, let's get it. Let's meet as many people as we possibly can.
Instead of like wedding crashers, you guys are like church crashers.
Oh yeah. And then I walk in and I'm like, wait, this is not what I expected. Okay, just adjust. Go. Do it.
Cody is saying, don't worry, I won't smoke in the church. That's reassuring. That's reassuring.
Oh, that was so much fun. For the content. And for the experience. Much more than just for the content.
Yeah.
Toey, Steven, thank you both. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being part of the Vault Patreon community. This is your monthly shout out. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. If you're interested in learning how you can get more involved, support the channel, get a little something in return as well. And we hope all of you have a fantastic weekend ahead. Partner, you're the best. Awesome week. Awesome interviews. We cannot encourage you enough to go check out our 2 interviews from this week with Danny Gonzalez of Arizona, who coached Tyler Loop, the new kicker, and Brent Pry, the current head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, who had Aeneas Peebles for a year last year at Blacksburg. Awesome stuff. Fun week.
Awesome.
hope to continue it next week. We still have many irons in the fire, as you and I discussed yesterday.
Yes,
So
yes.
hopefully more to come. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already done so. We really want to get to that 25,000 number, maybe before training camp. That would be awesome.
That'd be really
Let's
awesome.
see. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily live content. Next will be on Monday, if not before. We will have some pullouts, some condensed versions of content being available for you. One at 4 o'clock today, and then another one this weekend. So be on the lookout. And for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Friday lunch hour live stream. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. And as always, Voltrons, we will catch up with you soon here inside the vault. Have a great week.